Hello, everyone, and welcome to round number 2 of the 2022 Memorial Championship presented by Discraft. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, and joined again by Hannah McBeth. Hannah, the internet has spoken, and they said, bring her back. We need her for round 2.
Oh, boy.
So you get a second chance.
Round 2, baby. A lot more wind. We're going to kick it off on hole 1 with Eveliina Salonen, representing Finland, and Innova Discs. Ooh, my goodness.
Representing a bullseye.
That was awesome. Here's Kristin Tattar of Estonia tying Eveliina for the hot round at 7 under par yesterday. Very different line than Eveliina, going higher. Oh, look at the wind. Look at the disc movement on that green. And Maria Oliva, new to the tour, I believe last year, and now fully on tour. She's representing Texas and Innova Discs as well. Great control over that shot. And rounding out, as the commentator was going to say, or announcer.
Sarah almost had it, yeah.
Jennifer Allen. And she's from this area now, right?
Yes, I believe she's transplanted from trying to get it to drop it like it's hot, and unfortunately it's wet. So Allen, unsure if they actually, she gets to take it from where she was last in bounds. I was thinking about drop zone scenarios, but she gets to go from where she was last in bounds. So here's Maria. But yes, I think I was trying to complete a sentence and say that Jennifer moved here a few years ago from Oklahoma.
No stranger to the wind then.
Certainly not, but a couple of low pole hits and cage hits so far. Jen's got the chance to save the par.
Oh, no. Oh, these baskets are unforgiving on that far right side. That was a great bid from Jen. And here's Eveliina after a great drive. Yeah, no problem.
There's always nerves on the first hole, pretty much of any round of any tournament. But then you put it on this hole, the one that has water everywhere. You're usually putting at it, or you have to, you're catching your breath after just barely making it over and holding your breath. So it's a very nerve-wracking hole to get started.
I agree.
I'm going to head over to hole number 2. This is one of a couple of par 4s that we have on the course, and that's exactly what you want to do regardless of wind conditions.
She showed such good control. Looks like a clear tailwind. And Kristin's testing it out over the water. Yeah, these windy conditions are going to push that disc straight down. So I don't know if I would have opted for that line if I were Kristin. I know she's obviously a lot more skilled than I am, but with wind like this, it becomes the lesser of the two, lesser chance of making it in bounds.
Jen's a big fan of low power shots, so this is right up her alley.
Yep. Yeah, great shots.
So now she'll be throwing 3.
Oh, she's going big on that shot.
Oh
no.
Oh, that doesn't look like it covered any part of the land up ahead.
Yeah, that's just pushing her discs down. She's known for her distance. As we said in the previous round, she has a very well-rounded game.
I'll just go again.
And she's making these mistakes so early on the fairway. The basket's all the way down by that palm tree. She's going to look to clear the water one more time.
On that.
Oh, come on.
Oh, and that, I believe, is one of her favorite drivers, too, which is something you have to think about.
Yeah, this is tough, and this hole is like that. I mean, you're seeing how the discs are just not holding true to the shape that she's assuming they're going to, and it has everything to do with the wind. And a tailwind, your discs are going to get pushed down, especially with how high she's throwing them.
I believe that was her Proto Grace that I came to see quite a few times in Las Vegas a week ago, so I know it's a disc she relies on heavily, so to know that that's essentially out of her bag and out of play is something else that might mess with her.
Maria Oliva opening up on the fairway here of hole 2. That was incredible. Great movement.
when you see that on your card, do you feel like some of the other players think, oh no, like they almost are going to react and get a little bit scared because of what they just saw, or maybe they're a little bit more conservative?
No, I think if anything, well, yes, I mean, obviously they can get a great read on her discs, but I think if anything, it just helps them with their approaches. As we see Jennifer Allen with a great approach to the green here. But Kristin, it looked like she was throwing her discs straight and hoping that they would kind of flex up and then come back. Whereas all these other ladies have thrown hyzers, just pure hyzers the entire time.
Still, we're some work to do. Just gotta think about going deep, but that looks pretty much the right speed. Eveliina from about 45, and understandably, she doesn't want to mess with that putt at all.
Yeah, just laying up, conceding for par. Maria in for par. It's a great putt into the wind.
Little confidence boost. You know, I've seen Jen from short range over the last year or so, maybe almost year and a half, go to the turbo, but now in the last few weeks, I've seen her kind of go with a more staggered stance and building, I think, a little bit of confidence from that range.
Yeah, I've been listening to the PDJ radio podcast, and I know she's now working that with the other guy. I'm sorry that
Grant
I don't.
Zellner?
Yes, thank you. I don't know his name.
The greatest voice in
the
disc
other
golf?
guy. You know, you're the disc golf guy. He's the other guy. Anyways, long story long. She's talked a little bit about her journey with disc golf and how she's spent a lot more time practicing.
Yes, and I believe that is because she has taken some time off from work or has gone officially part-time, so to speak. So
now this is what I'm used to seeing, because when I play this tournament, I don't play very well, so I tee off real early in the morning. And y'all, I think this was shot real early in the morning.
It certainly was. Big shout out to Zach, who ran out and grabbed some drone previews for us, and Zach's been incredible, and I really appreciate the assist there. As Jen has the honors.
And this is, again, one of those must-get birdie holes. As we're going to see Kristin's score go all the way down to -2 for the event.
Yeah, and full disclosure, our graphics package only had quad bogey as the largest number. I believe that was actually I don't know, whatever, 5.
Quintuple?
Sure.
Quintuple, yeah.
I don't think it's a word she wants to learn in English.
Yeah, no.
See how she can bounce back.
Bring it up.
Mm.
Good shot.
Yeah, and I think this is a great testament, or this could be a great challenge for her to see how does she mentally handle, you know, such I'll call it a collapse or a struggle on hole 2.
Yeah.
To see how you can come back from the round. I mean, we're only a round and 2 holes into the entire 4-round tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think this will give us a chance to see her resilience, maybe.
Yeah, she had a lot of birdies yesterday. Today it's a little bit windier conditions, so more difficult to control your disc, and Fountain Hills is all about distance and control. Ooh, Eveliina, not taking her time. She knows it. We've all been there.
Right on the pole for Jen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go as far as saying also, you know, whatever she was talking about within the podcast, but I also think that you really don't have a choice to turbo putt when it gets really windy. I know she loves to do it from short range, but there's a certain range in which a turbo putt is going to be almost worthless.
Yeah,
in
I don't think a
conditions.
turbo putt is a good putt. I don't think that was her choice. I think it was more of like a this is all I have sort of situation mentally. But now that she's put in some practice, clearly we've seen she's right back where she needs to be with her game. So that's a good par putt from Eveliina, and Maria will tap in for par as well, and we'll move on to hole number 4.
I'm Garrett Girthy. People know me as Double G. I've been making Double G craft jerky since I was 16 years old.
I'm always a snacker, so about halfway through, I always find myself reaching for that bag of Double G jerky.
My favorite has got to be the garlic lover's dream. You just can't go wrong with garlic and beef jerky.
That middle of the round, you get into that slump. I'm going to reach for that Double G craft jerky to help me finish strong.
So most of you can't throw like Double G, but if you get his craft jerky, you can certainly eat like him. Go out and get some Double G craft jerky.
You can find Double G craft jerky at doublegjerky.com.
Wow, sounds like some good words of advice.
Wow, great. Yeah, words of wisdom for sure. Hole number 4, 250 feet, 76 meters for our European friends. Sorry, America's different. We're just like that. Par number 3, similar to the last hole that the women had, a little bit shorter and a lot more control needed. This is an island green.
And just like that, after taking a quintuplet bogey or whatever we discovered that was, she has the honors, but this one's out of bounds for Kristin.
Coming up short. And that looks to be out of position too.
Wow.
Not enough power or just poor wind read so far?
Well, let's see what Eveliina can do. She's had 2 wind reads now. She seems to be putting a little bit more on it. And even yet, she's close to the wall. Yeah, I think maybe they're just playing it a little bit too safe and coming up short.
Oh, and just barely off as well. So unfortunately, we've got 3 women going to the drop zone.
This ripping headwind for Kristin. So much spin and power on that disc, but it's all about nose angle when you're playing in the wind.
So how that just flipped right over on her.
Yeah, so with the difference between those 2 approaches was Kristin's nose angle was very straight, so her disc sort of stayed on line. Jennifer tends to put the nose of her disc up, which is super common and not necessarily a bad thing, but we're seeing it from Maria here too. The headwind is just taking them up and it's really difficult to control.
Nope.
Jennifer's just going to tap out for a double bogey.
And so we're only 4 holes in, and I think it's pretty safe to say there's going to be some serious scoring taking place today here, or it has already anyway.
Oh, yes, this is that common thing. Just early in the season, taking all of your practice for granted and not getting into your routine. Clearly, she's capable of making putts like that. We've seen her make putts from further away, but when you rush, you take it for granted.
Normal growth. Pond over. I know.
Discussing what their throwing options were. Here we are on hole 5. What are they trying to do?
Oh, man. Well, they were coming the opposite direction in the previous holes, and that was a headwind. So now that they have a tailwind, I'm thinking we're going to see some really high shots. That tailwind's going to push the disc down as soon as the disc shows face. And you're going to want to get it towards the basket. So we're going to see how aggressive they can be. I know Eveliina and all these women have the distance.
Get up. Get up.
Keeping it high, all things considered.
441 probably plays 410, maybe 420 as the entire slope of the hole, of course, but pretty steep at the very end of the flight.
Yeah, it sort of depends how you get your distance. Some women they have the power to throw it straight, like we see Kristin doing. The wind is just pushing that straight down, but other women have to rely on that hyzer flip. I think we see that with like Katrina Allen a lot, where she throws the hyzer flip and it has a full flight. You are not going to get that on this hole. That's way too risky.
Of course, the road here on the right side and the road deep of the basket are out of bounds. And that will work.
Yeah, that's a great bit if that can roll down that hill.
smashing them.
Mm-hmm. Sure is.
Maria, growing up in Texas, I think also no stranger to the wind.
Right.
Great shot, Maria.
Yep, right into the bowl and into the circle.
Great shot.
Nice upshots, very controlled. This is a birdie look for Jennifer.
Get up, get up, get up.
And I was thinking on this very hole in some of the other coverage that we've been editing together this week, this grass, incredibly grabby, very unlike what we'll see, or very different from what we'll see over at the Vista course. Even that shot right there, as that carried past, there's a lot of greens in disc golf where when that lands, that's going to skip the 2 feet and find out of bounds. But this just stops it immediately, almost like Velcro.
This green in particular is pretty thick. There are a couple more on this course that are surprisingly thin, and they play a little bit more slick. But yeah, I agree. This one's very grabby. That's an unfortunate miss for Kristin. She'll be looking to card another bogey with that to happen. And this is the part of disc golf that she hasn't really had to battle in for quite some time, just at the level that she is. When you're making mistakes, instead of taking a par, now she's taking a bogey, whereas the previous round, when she made her mistakes, she was taking a par instead of a birdie. And mentally, that can be much harder to battle back from.
Extra pause there for Maria, just to make sure she had everything dialed since she had missed from that distance on the previous hole. So good to see her refocus, reset herself. Hole 5, not doing anybody any favors.
Yeah, Evelina's hanging in there with 9 down, but we're going to move on to hole number 6, 233 feet. This hole's super fun. You want to hang it out over that tree and let it crash onto the green. I say fun because I'm not throwing it. The green is actually pretty tricky to land on. As you can see, it slopes down on the left and the right side. And this is one of those slick greens that I was talking about, Terry. This one is a very get up and roll green. Have you seen any aces on this hole before?
I've seen some splash outs throughout the years. I've never seen one stick. And I think actually throughout the years, being able to even see the basket has kind of become a thing. It's usually quite guarded because of the tree. And I feel like we're finally starting to see more of what's going on up there. The crazy part about this hole is when the players throw, unless there's a reaction from a cameraman or a spotter or the crowd, they have no idea exactly if it sat down or if it got up and possibly rolled 45 feet down the hill and out of bounds. That's a little bit wide.
Yeah, we sort of get to experience this hole from the player's perspective.
The suspense is killing me.
That looks nice. They all look good, but we'll see where they end up. Okay, well, that's a good sign for Kristin Tattar. Eveliina is putting first. Oh, just right, wide and right. There's a lot going on when you're putting on this hole. There's traffic right there, walkers coming through, there's holes ahead of you, people are throwing. It's not exactly a Finnish wooded fairyland over here on hole number 6. Difficult to focus.
After the pump fake, Maria finds the bottom of the basket for the birdie.
Good birdie putt from Jen. That'll tie her with Maria Oliva.
I think back just 5 holes ago, we saw Eveliina and Kristin started this round both at 7 under, and now you see the 8-stroke difference between the two. However, that is in for a birdie, so it'll now become a 7-stroke difference.
And I believe this is Kristin's, is this her first birdie of the round?
She had birdied hole 3, I believe. Now you're really going to make me second guess myself. And Eveliina struggling from short range. That's the second one I feel like we've seen from inside 10 feet.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed about Evelina's game is when her putting is off, it's really just her follow through. She's sort of timid with it. So hopefully we've got 11 holes left, starting with hole 7. Let's see if she can clean it up. But hole 7 is super awesome. It's 210 feet, 64 meters, and it's a par 3. Plays out to a little baby peninsula. And there's a mando tree, but I don't really think it comes into play for these ladies.
As you said, 210 feet. This is the shortest hole that our competitors will see all weekend, not just at this course, but throughout the entire weekend, as Jen does fall, and it falls inbounds for her. Such an interesting play. We know that she's comfortable with the forehand.
Mm-hmm.
If you see a forehand here, typically it's up and around the trees with a big spike forehand hyzer, but to see the low forehand with a mid, just an interesting play. I saw Adam Hammis, for instance, take it on the MPO side, and I thought, wow, that's kind of unique.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say that too before you said it. Adam Hammis does throw the forehand here, and every time he does, I'm like, why are you doing that?
So she's got another forehand now from a knee. When does a baby peninsula become an adult peninsula? You had said that earlier, and I was... Oh,
Jennifer Allen with a great approach. Oh, thank you for saving Terry, Jen. Great birdie. Incredible, iconic.
Scary.
Very scary.
That was crazy. That wasn't just scary. Nice putt.
Maria wants no part of that. She said,
like,
I'll lay up.
Cool story, Jen. I'm going to just lay this up.
It's 2022. I'm comfortable in my own skin. Oh.
Again, just light, as if she's not committed. So Kristin now with a par.
Good putt there from Kristin.
I feel like this is more excitement than we signed up for on hole 7.
You know, hole 7 is like that.
Man, it's not that hard to birdie. I mean, if you only knew some people that could birdie. Yeah, never mind. We'll move on. All right. If you've been watching other coverage, you know. Thanks to Resistance Disc, Jeff Korn, and crew. Here we are for hole 8, the par 4, the last par 4 they play. What are they doing?
570 feet, 174 meters. Let's see, they're going to get off the tee really strong. You want to have a good first placement shot so you can attack this other teenage peninsula. And I would say Jennifer definitely has the distance. I'm interested to see Maria attack this hole. We didn't get to see her the first day, but I know that all of these women had birdie looks. The worst mistake possible on this hole is early because you've still got to get your way to the green. So yeah, she'll be able to see it from there, but again, well down the fairway.
This hole so daunting.
And I wouldn't say it matters where you place your first shot. You really just want to bite off a ton of distance. What do you think?
Well, I was thinking the first shot really will dictate whether or not you can even think about a birdie, because if you don't get at least to where Kristin is or beyond, you can't really attack the peninsula, because you're not likely going to see someone throw a blind turnover shot or a blind shot that they're going to have to put the nose of the disc up for.
Correct, yeah.
So you need to at least crest the hill, I think, is the key if you want to be aggressive for a birdie. And maybe no surprise, this one's playing at .74 above par.
Eveliina doing what she does best. Oh, I jinxed her. No, commentator curse on post-production.
You think she hits trees the best? Ouch.
I'm so sorry. No, she's so good with her drive. She's so in control always. Look at this forehand.
I was just thinking, we don't see a lot of forehands out of her.
That was really,
be
really
effective,
good.
yeah.
Yeah. Definitely got the job done. I like that play from Maria. She's just choosing a driver and putting it on a little bit of an anhyzer and watching it slowly come out. It's going to make its way towards the basket and skip because it has that thick rim.
And that is
Wow.
picture perfect for Jen.
Yeah, that was great. It looks like the wind has really died down as the round carries on. So good opportunity here for some scoring.
Just ultimate confidence in trusting you've got the right speed and angle to put it on that little peninsula.
I think we've also got to remember, too, Kristin lost a significant amount of discs back on hole 2, and we have no idea if she's gotten those back. Some of those might be old faithfuls.
Eveliina wants no business running at that one. Man, I guess that's the question. Are we going to see any putts bigger than what we saw from Jen back on 7? All right, I'm going to put you on the spot as Maria pitches up. What's a question for our viewers that they need to answer in the comment section if they want to win something?
Okay, so I just said if Kristin Tattar might not be playing with normal discs. You know, she might have lost a lot of her go-to drivers on hole 2 as she makes that great birdie putt. Would you be able, if you were given a bag identical to the one that you have right now, with all the same plastic, but it was new to you plastic, so it's like brand new or used, but you've never thrown it before. Does that make sense? Would you be able to score the same? Like, would you be able to compete and feel confident? Yes or no?
All right, folks, put it in the comments.
Are you going to answer?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I'm going to say yes.
Is it because you don't really play that much?
What are you trying to say? No, I feel like once you know if you had replacement discs and they're discs that you're familiar with in terms of the molds, assuming the manufacturers are doing their job, you should be able to grab a new set of discs and then go out and confidently know what they're going to do. They're not going to be quite as worn in, of course, but you should know.
Hole 9, 285 feet, 87 meters. And here we are, Terry, hole 9. Tons of scoring separation, but not the kind that we thought we would see. I thought that we would see a lot more blue.
Yeah, this one, I just feel like they're thinking about how they want to attack it. And then they say, okay, no, I'm just not going to mess with it. Because it's so easy to chalk up a big number here.
Oh, this is interesting. Jennifer Allen opting for the standstill. Just full control. That's a really good shot for a standstill.
Yeah, 285, slightly downhill. Most people are putting a little bit of run up into it.
Kristin Tattar with the classic car horn razz.
Oh, that's not fair.
Very unlucky round for Kristin Tattar. Maria getting nice and aggressive.
Fortunately, she's going to find the water.
This is the other classic thing at Fountain Hills, is the not so often, not so
Rare.
unusual or rare spectators that aren't really spectators.
They're like, yeah, my Silver Sneakers Club is meeting. I'd like to get moving here. Please get off the sidewalk. Oh, sit down.
Sit. Unfortunate back-to-back OB for Maria.
She needed some Velcro on those sneakers. Slow that one down. Remember?
Maria for her double bogey. Oh, insult to injury, just right on line. Or a little bit offline, I should say, but good height.
Easy to be tentative when throwing directly at the water. And speaking of the water, we're hoping and assuming that Kristin was able to get that previous drive back. That one just barely trickled in, so she probably was able to retrieve that one.
Eveliina.
Oh, no. And then carried enough to go all the way to the water. Ouch. Now, she can re-putt from that spot.
You can re-putt. Yeah. There you go, bro.
Well, unfortunately, that's going to start to close us out for the front nine. We appreciate all of you guys for joining us. Eveliina started the round at 7 under, and that's where she is now. But Kristin, who also started at 7, is going to now drop down to, I believe, 2 under. Meanwhile, Jen Allen hanging in there. She's 5 under. I believe that's where she started, so she's even.
Yeah, and we're kind of going to move away from the water in the back nine, which I'm excited for because it seems like it's giving these women a lot of trouble and they can really unleash. And as we're seeing the pond even in the back, it's not as windy as it was when we started at all.
Well, we invite you to join us for the back nine as you take a look at the scores and how they sit. Not quite halfway through the tournament, but let's see how things shake out. This is their last chance at Fountain Hills. We'll see you for the back nine. Hannah, please join us.
See you there.